Hello, Kurt's Place here again. Please remember anything I show is for entertainment. And if you like what you see, please like and subscribe. Back again. So, my needle for my fuel gauge was bouncing around a bit. It was very unstable. And the gauge seems to test okay based on the manual. So, I decided to take a look at the sending unit here, which, didn't really, for me, didn't really come out that great. So this here is the one part, and the other part is right over here. So there was a little screw that kind of allowed this thing to go, rotate back and forth. But when I was trying to get it out, this was getting caught in the little hole here. So what I ended up doing to get it all the way out, instead of breaking it, I used this piece of wire here, and I just fished it through here, through the hole here, with this in place. I just kind of pushed this off to the side, and I fished the wire over to the fill hole here, and pulled the filter out, and then fished the wire up through, and then I tied it off, or then I unbolted this from here and tied it off, the wire. So when I unbolted this and clipped the wire, it came right out. I just fished it through the tank. No big deal. And I got this little guy here. I got one of these for my boat, and it seems to work really good. And I also saw that I believe it's Call Me Colt or something on his channel. He got one of these as well, same brand, KUS. He got a 5.5 inch. That one wasn't available, so I got the 5-inch. I also, the recommendation was to be at least 1 inch from the bottom of the tank to the top of here. I believe I measured it to be about 6 1/4 roughly. Could be off a little bit, but it'll just show that it's empty a little bit sooner, so it'll suggest I add fuel before it's really empty. So, but as you know, if any of you are familiar, we do have the other sensor switch in there, which is similar to this actually, to my understanding. It's gonna be, it has a safety low shut off on it as well, and it also controls the auxiliary pump. So but this here, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put a connector similar to this on there. Actually, it's gonna be exactly like that. There we go. Yeah. All right. Now let's see. Oop. Not a lot of room in here to get a regular screwdriver. Which these nuts that bolts that it came with, should, it gives a different option to a screwdriver. All right. Looks like it's lined up good. This one in the back is particularly a harder one to do. Alright, there we go. And we'll just make sure they're all tight. All right, there's that. Okay, so, all right, so I'm gonna put this same exact connector on, actually, because that's what I have. And then instead of just, you know, wiring those like directly, which I could, I guess it's good enough. But so you see here, what I'm gonna do, the pump side has the female, and you know the wired side here from the harness has the male end. So what I'm gonna do is, for this one, so I don't accidentally hook these up backwards sometime, is I'm gonna put the male on the sender side and the female on the harness side, so that they don't get mixed up if I ever have to change this out or take the tank out and put it back for whatever reason. So that's what I'm gonna do there. So gotta make sure I get the right ends here. Need 2 for each side, but we'll start with that one. All right. Oh boy, which side was which? Okay, this way. All right, so this is the female side, or I'm sorry, the male side rather. As far as the connector, I guess technically the connector itself might be female, but let's see, get that right in there just right, like so. Okay. Alright, the next one. Sometimes you gotta manually squeeze them in there a little bit. Alright, there's that. So that is going to be there. So I want to see which side is which. Okay, try to keep it similar. So I want, I think, the black on the bottom. Yeah. Just trying to orient it the same, similar way here. This should just snap right in. That one went in. Nice. This one didn't go all the way yet. But it is in there. I may need to get something to poke that in. There, I could use this right here. Yeah. I think. There we go. We got a little caught up here. Well, yeah, let me, there we go. I think that was holding us up. Let's try that. There we go. Much better. Alright. Yeah, that was from when I tested it. Make sure it operated my gauges fine. And alright, we know there we go. That might be a little long. And I did prior to this, because I found out this was maybe hooked up wrong. So I did check to see what side was what side went ground. So that's why I had a black and a red. All right. So alrighty. There's that. And since we know we want the black on the bottom, and I know that was the black, that's gonna go right in there like that. All right. There we are. Oop. Looks like I got a little piece there. All right. And there we go. So that'll do that. That should go clip right on in there. I'll hook this guy back up. And alrighty, so now we're at the front. Let's see if the gauge is working. I think the gauge is working. It did seem to jump a little bit. I do know I have it seems to kick on and have a low oil pressure when I first started up, but let's see. Yeah, see? Second time will do it just fine. Hey, my needle's not bouncing. I do plan on making a load test, or doing a load test on this probably this weekend. All right, thanks.